Hi, everyone. Hey, welcome, welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our monthly gathering, Satsang, Q&A, Course in Miracles, non-dual, Christian, whatever you want to talk about. Bring it on. We love talking about the truth, and all of those things are relevant, and other traditions also. I want to thank everyone for being here. And as we, as people are coming in to the room and formulating your what might be a question, I have a few questions for you. And if you're coming from how many are coming from the book study? How many in here join us for the book study? Oh, good. A lot, quite a bit. Well, if you're not joining us for the book study and you really want a book that will knock your socks off every time, every paragraph, this is it. You are the happiness you seek. It's a great, it might be my favorite. I've done 5 or 6 of Rupert's book studies over the past 4 or 5 years, maybe and a couple twice. This has to be the most simple and clear teaching. You are the happiness you seek. The search is over when you know this, and it's not a mystery. It's not. It's so simple that we miss it. It's like the air that we breathe. If we're asking for air, we're not breathing, right? Well, you are the happiness that you seek. And whatever it is, if it's sex, drugs, rock and roll, big job, big house, relationship, money, no matter what it is, we're all seeking happiness in those different forms. And when you're on the spiritual path, it's not different. For me, I wanted to know, and I think a lot of you are like, most of us are the same. When we're young children or teenagers, at some point we look around and we go, "Is this it? Something's not right about this picture." And then if you start looking for truth, start looking for answers in God and religion, that's even crazier. But sometimes for me, it was the last resort, and it was, yeah, I was going, man, I was on the drug train and the hippie thing in the 70s, and religion helped to remove that. So I used that as something to remove the lifestyle that I adopted myself to. And then I found Christianity. I really wanted to know who Jesus was. I really wanted to know, the things he did. I wanted to know more about that guy. So I chased after him, and it wiped out the drug thing and the alcohol. I got very straight, and then I'm still searching, and then I found A Course in Miracles. Oh my God, I'm going, oh, this is the Holy Grail. And I shared that. I tried to share that with all my Christian friends. Oh my God. It was like, you are a blasphemer. Get that stuff out of here. And so I found the Course was really a great answer for me for all those many years. And then Muji, I went to Portugal. I stayed with Muji for a while. I've been there several times on work teams, and really enjoying that sangha and the satsangs with Muji. And then years later, I found Rupert, and the rest is history. It's just, and there's an awakening that occurs in that period of time. And if I was to ask you a question, how many in here are aware of glimpses, have had glimpses just with a raise of hands, glimpses. Yeah, because glimpses are important, and the reason glimpses are important is they're like a window. They're a signpost. I remember having conversations with one of my early course teachers was Ken Wapnick, and I would ask Ken about these mystical experiences that I was having then, and he would say those are signposts. Those are just signposts that you're on the right track, you're on the right path, and so I was satisfied with that. It's not the whole answer. The glimpses are important identifiers of self realization identifiers. It's the light of truth that's glimpsing in, and sometimes it comes with a feeling, an aha. Sometimes it's a mystical experience, and if you don't get sucked into the mystical experience and hoping that it will happen again, it's just a glimpse. It's a taste of what's coming. It's a taste of what's evolving for you. And I'm going to ask anyone here that's if you're having a situation that is, if you're confused, if you're hurting, if you need healing, or you just are searching, any of those, or if you're just happy, raise your hand. So everybody should be included in that. Or maybe you're sad, raise your hand. Everybody's included in that. So we're going to pause right now. I'm going to invite us to have a meditation, to begin our time in meditation. And the reason that I want you to look at, if you're hurting, if you really are hurting, like I was hurting when I heard about the children, those small children that were killed in that school shooting. Oh my God, I was hurting for their parents and for the other children that were, how about confused from now on for a long time. And I just pause and hurt for them. And if you're confused about non-duality and A Course in Miracles, or the direct path in A Course in Miracles, if you're just searching, or maybe you're like many of us and you like hanging out with people that are talking about truth, and it's a good place to hang out, because the truth is what you are, and you're just hanging out, looking for or resonating with or abiding in your true nature, yourself. So all of those things fit. And if we just pause and rest as awareness, and you can close your eyes if you want. I'm just going to maybe have a 5-minute guided meditation, and we'll just bring our attention to being aware of this experience. If you're aware of this experience, your eyes are closed, there's just an awareness of Bill talking. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Bill Free, and this is a gathering I've started a few months ago. Was once a week, and then I moved it to once a month. I felt that would be more powerful for people that have questions. And if you're aware of the sound of my voice, you're aware right now. It's just pure, just plain awareness. You used to think, and maybe you still do, you think that this is the body, the personal self awareness that is aware of the bodysuit with your name. And this awareness is actually prior to the bodysuit. It's prior to you being born. This awareness, if you're aware right now, and you can't have an experience without awareness. And this awareness, now, don't hang up when I say this awareness is God. Okay? This awareness that's aware of your experience. This is God. This is God presence. And this is the major aha. For many of you, this is the major glimpse. This is where abiding abides. This is where presence is. When you're here as awareness, this is a known experience. You know that you're aware. And this isn't something that you're reading. This is something that you are knowing. This is where we go from perceiving to knowing. You know this experience of awareness. So just rest in awareness right now. This is a resting place, a sanctuary. You could also call it the altar of truth. Awareness is a sacred place. And if I ask you, does this awareness that you're experiencing right now, does it have a gender? Well, you when you answer that question, I don't think you can find a gender in awareness. And if I ask you, does this awareness have an age? I don't think you can find an age, a beginning or an ending. Awareness, this awareness experience that you're knowing right now, it just is. It can't be objectified. You can't find it as an object. It's just a direct experience of yourself, capital S self. This is it. This is I am that I am. And this awareness, it transcends time and space. So this awareness is an eternal experience. And this resonates for most of you. Maybe some of you it doesn't. You have questions about that. We can talk about that after we're finished. But this awareness is not time-based. We just found that when we asked if it has an age. Well, it doesn't have an age. It's eternal presence. It's the now experience. And while we're hanging out right here as awareness, I asked you a few questions. Are you confused about anything? Maybe relationship matter, money, A Course in Miracles and nondual? Anything that might be confusing for you, questions you might have, bring them into this space of awareness, of being aware of them. If you're having health issues and you're fearful about that, bring that into this space of awareness. If you're having money issues and there's worry and fear about that, bring it in here. This is a healing experience, very sacred. We bring our attention to the truth of awareness, and then we bring the time and space experiences, the illusory things, the worry, the fear, the anxiety, the love, the joy, the compassion, everything. We bring it right into this space and we just look at it. We just are aware of the thought from a place of presence. We're aware of any kind of personal experience, intimate experience, something you wouldn't tell or say to anyone, something that you're embarrassed or shameful about, something maybe you feel guilty for. Bring it into this space and just allow it to be seen at the altar of truth. And the altar of truth doesn't find anything that it doesn't shine its light on as not real, temporary, time-based, dream-based, whatever that is. Stay as presence. And you are also, as presence, you are also love. You are what love is. You, awareness, you are what God is. You are what the Holy Spirit shows you. You are the reflection, which is what the Holy Spirit is, if you understand that term. It's your deepest love and understanding. It's your connection with your I am presence. And in this space, we're shining a light on any illusion, any darkness, any spot that would tell you otherwise or bring doubt. Do you have doubt? Bring doubt into this place. Do you have worry? Bring it right here. And just hang out, resting as awareness. This is your essential self. You can do this without me. You can do this just by pausing as awareness. Anytime you're upset or you're worried or there's a question that you have, some situation in your life with your partner or spouse, children, money, health, find this pause as awareness, just as we're doing here, and bring it into the space and don't touch it. Just allow it to be seen, felt, the worry. Don't say, oh, it's just, that's not true. Just allow the feeling to come in, allow the full worry to come in. And then I'm going to invite you to love it. Just love it and welcome it. And maybe you'll find it harder to do that, but welcome it and just make it feel like it's welcome and loved, no matter what it is. Bring it into this loving place of your altar of truth and leave it here. Leave it at the altar. Just breathe that in. This is where the truth abides as pure presence. I amness. This is a holy place. It's where you experience your holiness, your I am presence. And this feels really good to just hang out right here, right? This is always available. We're just providing a space for it. And now you can just gently open your eyes if they were closed. And, we just start our time together with a nice meditation. It softens everything. It brings a container, a space for everyone to feel present and to join. You might have lost your questions in that meditation. That happens sometimes. And thank you for being here. There's a couple of hands up and some chat on the board. So Alicia, welcome. Thank you for raising your hand. Would you unmute your mic, please?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but well, okay, exactly how do you feel when you are in like that meditation? Like for a moment, it was like, I don't know, maybe expansive. I've had those moments before, but during the meditation, I had it briefly. Um, but anyway, I just wanted to share that I have that expansive feeling sometimes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's the glimpse
Mm,
of presence. That's awakening, glimpsing to you that I'm right here. I'm right here.
mhm.
It's like a cloudy day and you see a spot of blue and you go, oh, the sun's coming out. And these glimpses are just they're uh, the the beginning of awakening experience of self realization. And it is expansive because there's it's not time and space based, it's everything.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And Dago, hi. Can you unmute your mic?
Hi,
Hi.
I love being here. Um, so I've been starting I'm really excited about the 40-day program that starts tomorrow.
Yes.
So
Yes.
excited because it's changed everything for me completely. So but I've noticed that my mind is going like crazy because I am like I want to do it and I want to do it right and I want to do everything and I'm just like freaking out. And so oh, and then I started I you have the other one that you do like um I forgot what's called that you're doing like every day, this one. And
Oh,
I've been starting that one, and so I got this like aha, which is like it was like just let it just be or just watch it. And I let go of this fear or whatever was going on. And there was just this huge shift. So it was just so amazing. And I've been it's amazing. I just keep getting all this direction of what to do. And it is just such a blessing and a guidance. I just follow it. And it is just it's so amazing. But I got the direction to come and ask you and to bring it into the open and even just hearing the discussion earlier, I'm like, oh, I can just watch it. I don't have to like change it. It can be there. I can just let my freak out be the freak out and 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 let the body freak out and let the mind and everything just freak out. Um, and it's okay.
yeah. 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 Just, you know, uh, just sometimes you have to be a little excited privately because people might think you're a little bit crazy.
Yes.
But yeah, just be happy and don't, even you mentioned about the 40 day. I love the 40 day. I filmed it and I was with Lisa for when she did it. And it's it's a channeled idea of helping people to release things that are keeping them constricted, restricted, or limited. And it's an opening. And lots of people have had great benefit from it. So, and we have so many thousands of testimonies about it that we just keep replaying it. It's just an inspired program. And what I heard you say was, there's, getting a little excited about doing it, making sure you do it right. Well, lay that aside and just enjoy the experience and look at the idea that you need to do everything right. That's a limited idea that's going to put restrictions and it's going to put pressure on you. Just do it for the fun of it. And there's no right or wrong. It's just that you have a pull to join it because it's a party and awesome things happen. You get to interact and see the transformation of many people that are in that group journey. It's exciting to watch. Lisa and I for years, we would sit in a hotel room. We'd launch it while we were traveling a little bit, and we'd sit in that hotel room for the first few days, just in this energy of excitement that so many people were opening themselves up to a new way of seeing, a new way of being. It's a starter course for awakening. And it's still in a dualistic framework. It's a progressive starter course, nothing wrong with it. It's a great starter course. And Lisa teaches some pretty advanced ideas in this last one that we filmed in 2016. But enjoy your time with it, Endego. Always good to see you. Love you. And I'll see you on the 40 day. Linda Joy, I'm going to look at this comment in the chat first from Henrik. Henrik says, and there's a link on the chat. If you're not in the book study, you can join it. It's on Wednesdays at noon. It's free. Henrik says, in the discussion, it seems like preparations are not really needed. You are supposed to just let go, to relax and witness as you, in reality, are not the cause of what is happening. Okay, so I'll finish reading this and then I'll go back to part one. To me, however, this seems a bit unusual as I am used to constantly preparing what to do, and I have a hard time understanding how to make it work in another way. I would appreciate it if you could expand a bit on the subject and explain how to see this. Henrik, this is you posted a good question right here. So it seems like preparations are not really needed. That's a false idea. Preparation is definitely needed. When I'm preparing to build something, I was a builder for 35 years, and now I just finished restoring an old 30-year-old John Deere tractor. When you build a house, you have to prepare months and months and months in advance. You have to contract subcontractors. You have to order material, sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year in advance, depending on the specialty of the item. So preparation is part of life. What's hiding here is you, Henrik, think you're doing it. That's not the case. Henrik is the avatar. Henrik's just an empty box. He doesn't really think. He thinks he thinks. Bill thinks he thinks. But there's inspired awareness, inspired intuition that sparks the bodysuit, actually the mind, even the mind that thinks that it's separate, is sparked by divine intelligence, by I am intelligence, by awareness, if you will, by this essence of God that you are. That sparks movement, and then the bodysuit moves. And when the thinking mind gets involved and starts rationalizing or using rational ideas to plan, that's where the bodysuit is, or the personal self is starting to manage the experience. Because you can actually, just like we did that initial meditation, you can just pause and you're getting ready to start to do something. If I'm building or restoring this John Deere tractor, I'm just thinking about this John Deere tractor and what I want to do, and all of a sudden I get an inspired idea to do. I'm gonna get the engine fix on it. Well, I take the John Deere to the John Deere place to get the engine fixed, and they tell me, well, that's going to cost $2,000 to fix that problem that you're having. Well, that seems like it's not a good place to put $2,000. And so I bring it into this space of just wondering what I should do. I get an inspired idea. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend $2,000 on this just to work on a machine that's 30 years old. So I don't do it. Then maybe a few days passes and I'm on the internet. I'm wondering what I should do with that John Deere tractor. I think about selling it because I didn't realize the repair is going to be $2,000. And then all of a sudden something pops up on my screen and I see, a whole engine, brand new engine is $1,800 for the John Deere. Oh, now that makes sense to have a brand new engine for $1,800. That makes really good sense. And I have the money for the new engine. I think I'll just restore this John Deere and I'll make it worth the money that I'm going to put in it for many, many years to come. And so there's planning involved, but it's inspired planning, and preparations will still happen. It's when you come to this place of hanging out as awareness, your life is turned over to that awareness. Your life is turned over to that expanded ability to discern and to know where to go and what to say to whom. Because now you are assuming the relationship that the Course talks about called the Holy Spirit. It's the God connection that you have. It's workbook lesson 155 says, I will step back. That's the bodysuit identity. I will step back and let him lead the way. That's letting divine guidance lead the way. We all have it. We all have access to intuitive divine guidance for every single decision, including, should I have a cup of coffee right now? Including, in fact, when I first found A Course in Miracles and I was on the path of self-discovering guidance, I asked Holy Spirit, I started having this new connection with Holy Spirit and the symbol we call Jesus. I started having this internal connection with them. And I said, do I need to ask you every time I go to the bathroom? Right now, yes. Right now, just so you get used to this communication that's occurring. And I was using the symbol of Jesus or the Holy Spirit temporarily, because I felt that they were advanced. The Holy Spirit was I understood that to be the connection to God. And I understood Jesus. I mean, that guy really did amazing things. I went to Jerusalem, Bethlehem, to touch the dirt where he walked. I was impressed, inspired, and well, I should be, because look, he let the whole bodysuit go so he could prove a point that we're not this bodysuit. And so initially, we'll use those symbols. The Buddha is a great symbol for divine guidance. Ramana Maharshi, Nisargadatta, many of the sages, those symbols are helpful and effective, but we don't need the symbols. Once we go to the top of the ladder and we have our awakening experience, we are what God is. We're the same as Jesus or Buddha or the Holy Spirit. And a divine idea, inspired idea, we need but just pause, bring our attention to and as awareness, and we're right there. We're right there hanging out with all the big guys and girls, Mary Magdalene and great other teachers. Unfortunately, we have more males than females, but there are many females that were. I think Mary Magdalene, she was right there on par with Jesus at the same time. And so there, it's residing in that place. It's bringing your attention as awareness, and it really just is it's an experience that needs to be developed, because you are used to thinking that Henrik is the one that makes decisions. And if you would just rest as awareness more and more, Henrik, resting as awareness, and it will end up leading the way. You don't have to help it. You just have to have a little willingness to move your attention and acknowledge the truth. And you are the truth and the light that will then lead Henrik, and Henrik can continue taking the credit. He'll take credit less and less as he moves into this ability, because it's a pretty astounding ability when you see it taking place again and again and again. It's astounding. It will blow your socks off and your mind. And I hope that's helpful, Henrik. I saw that you sent me an email, and I'm glad you showed up here, because this is the best place to ask questions. Yes, Jan Blaine, you're exactly right. There is no wrong way to do this. It does require an interest. It does require that you want to know the self, because you can ignore the self for a long time, and it's unnecessary. It'll make you suffer unnecessarily. You can avoid the truth, but the truth is always standing right here waiting for you to acknowledge it. And it's like turning on the key to the ignition. You're now, it's going to lead the way and do all the work. Thank you for that, Jan. Omashar here. Hey, Omashar, good to see you, my brother. Welcome.
Hey, Bill. I was super attracted to come and be with you. So here I am, and I'm already feeling inspired. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. Good to be with you. Good to see you. So for you all that don't know, Omashar is like, he's one of my inspired musicians, not my inspired musicians, but his music inspires me to this day. He's been in several of our conferences so far, and he just shares his music and his heart from this beautiful place. And thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Linda Joy, it's good to see you. Welcome. Can you unmute your mic?
Good morning.
Hi.
I'm not quite sure how to ask my question now because you've really answered everything that's in my heart. So my version of 155 is I step back and let love lead the way. I have such a hard time with all the male verbiage in the lessons, but
Yeah.
I am a year and a half now back, and it's feeling really good. And I feel a little silly about my question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because you mentioned in the meditation, are you confused about anything? And I think what I do is I tend to try to do too much. And I'm doing the 40-day tomorrow, and I've been doing many, many things with you and enjoying every minute of it. But one of the things I haven't done is to read the text. And I have been part of a few groups, and I've had 2 or 3 people tell me I must read chapter 30 on rules of decision. So the other night I went out and read chapter 30, and I ended up so confused. I was just sick. And I was actually at the point of leaving the course alone again for a while, because I'm doing a lot of other things. And I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. And what was I? Because 155, 125, I can name 5 other about, resting God and that I am guided. And I have known for a very long time that I'm divinely guided. And that my problem is I just don't pay attention, and I don't take time to pause, and I don't spend time in the presence. So I'm just going to ask you, Bill, I almost decided not to pose this, but do you think I'm missing anything by skipping right now? I just want to say, I don't want to read chapter 30 for a while.
Yeah, I hear you. The reason that the reason I would say well, first of all, let's go to the confusion. Let's go to the idea of confusion. Bringing that experience of confusion, or something that brings you to the point of saying, I'm not going to do that anymore. That's confusing me more than I've ever been. And the reason that these 2 different ideas can cause confusion is because the progressive path, which is A Course in Miracles, is speaking to an ego mind, a mind that thinks that it's separate. So it's speaking to an ego. It's speaking often to a person. And then within the text of the communication, it will go back and forth to different levels and speaking to awakened mind, and then the ego mind again. And you have to really be astute. You have to really know your identity and live in the certainty of your identity to see the difference of the 2 easily, and not allow the mind to confuse you by the context of of who it's speaking to. So when you're living as awareness, so I will step back and let aware presence lead the way, is what I changed the title to that workbook lesson to. I will step back. I, personal self, will step back and let aware presence lead the way. Well, if you're living in that place of aware presence, resting as awareness, you don't need to be going to content, to the text that's speaking to the ego mind. You're transcended the mind in that experience. Stay there. because when you stay there as aware presence, it does all the work. It does all the work. And if you have things that need that where you like I would say that this confusion is an obstacle to peace. Would you say that?
Yeah. Yes.
So when you do you have glimpses of awareness experience where you can pause and abide as awareness?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when you have that ability, you skip a couple of rungs on the ladder of awakening. And if you go to the true perception, you're actually seeing beyond appearances. You're seeing as what the Course calls the Holy Spirit. So you don't need to be messing around with all of the lower ladder stuff. Stay up there. It does all the work. And it's good that confusion raised its head. It's really great that confusion raised its head, because I'm going to suggest that as awareness sees that experience, as aware presence sees the confusion, sees the peace is disturbed, now just bring it into that space, because now you're in the borderland, what the Course calls the borderland, where you have assumed your rightful place as at the altar of truth as the truth, and illusions lay side by side next to the truth, and only the truth remains.
Okay.
So do you see the value in that?
Yes.
So just abide as the truth, as I am the truth, and now love the confusion. Bring the confusion in. I love you. I bless you. You're welcome in this space of awareness. Invite it in. And anytime you're confused by anything that's in the Course, or that some teacher says, or this teacher, this or someone else says that confuses you, go to your altar of truth. Go to the holiness, to that place of aware presence, and bring it into that space, and let it just abide right there, and it will dissolve into the nothingness that it rises in, because it's hiding in it's there hiding, and something is bringing it to the surface for you to look at, so you can be free.
I was actually embarrassed to bring this up.
Well,
Because
that's another one.
It made me feel so stupid. I mean, I just felt like an idiot reading that chapter. Isn't that terrible? I mean,
No, it's not, because the thing is that the progressive path, I wrote a blog about the difference between the progressive path and the non-dual path. They're actually both necessary. I love A Course in Miracles. I just, I read it 10 times before I found the non-dual path, so I understood it pretty well, but it was always speaking to the hims, the theys, the we's. It was always, and God was seemingly out there somewhere,
yeah,
with Jesus and the Holy Spirit. I needed it to be closer.
yeah.
And then it came in as a direct experience, and I could see everything from the place, from a not confused place, a place of certainty, a place of awakeness, and a place of knowing the truth and being and having freedom.
Okay.
But
Do you think-
just anytime a question comes up, especially something that you're embarrassed, I mean, just to even say that is a plus, because the embarrassment is another trap that the mind uses to have you hold on to things. It's like the Catholics had this part right. By the mouth, confession is made. No, not the Catholics. This was This was in Paul in the New Testament. By the mouth, confession is made unto salvation, right? By the mouth, we say what's hiding, and we're released for our awakening. That's how I would reinterpret that. By the mouth, confession is made for salvation. So by the mouth, when you say I was ashamed, okay, it's out there, and now it's being purified. You're being released from it. That's no longer holding you a prisoner, the embarrassment or even the issue. So anytime there's an embarrassment that's happening for anyone, or something's hiding its head and you don't want to say it, that's when you should say it.
Well, I've been perfectly happy with the lessons and with all the non-dual work I'm doing. And I've been doing that now for 20 years. And so I think that's why it hit me so hard to think, well, why am I not understanding what I'm supposed,
Yeah. Well, it's speaking to an ego mind that thinks it's separate, and you're confused because you're not that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That just makes total sense. Thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Linda Joy.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Dave, let's see. Dave here. I think it's really important to read the course text at some point, if that is your path or a major source of your inspiration, and to understand the later chapters. It is really important to get solid in the earlier chapters. The vocabulary is established in early chapters. I too have a problem with gender-specific language, and I convert it in my head as I read. Okay, well, thank you, Marta. Appreciate that. I'm glad that I read the course cover to cover, but for some reason, for some people, the course is confusing. And I don't know that you need to read the whole text. The course is very clear in several places where you could read one sentence and have complete salvation. Now, why do you need to read the whole course if one sentence can give you your complete awakening? So I don't know that it's really that. Now, I read the text completely, like at least 8 times. But I was obsessed with waking up from the course, and I couldn't find my awakening in the course. I couldn't find it. I went to stay with Muji. I got closer, and then when I found Rupert, the search was over, because he made it just so clear for me that I had my awakening years earlier, and I never knew it. And that's what the problem is that many of us have awakening experiences and beautiful mystical experiences and ahas, and we actually meet and have these guided direct experiences, and then we just keep burying our head in egoic text. So, Marta, I love that you made a bold statement there, but I don't think that's true for everyone.
So it's a little confusing. I'm Marta, and it was David.
Where are you? Do you have your camera on?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you see us?
Yeah, I see you. Okay, good.
Two.
Hi.
Hi, Bill.
Yes.
So, yeah, just background. David knows a lot about the course and has done it since the 70s. And I found the course in the 80s and got bogged down after a few years of trying it, and then left it until we got married, basically. And then came back to it and learned a lot more about it and kept loving it more and more. And yet I just could not find the breakthrough until David signed up for Living in Oneness. And I was the one who was kind of listening in on the side and hearing the Rupert videos, and the Rupert video just opened up everything for me. And I heard, then I could just hear things in the course in such a clearer, more different, like you say, direct way. And it's really mattered to me. And so David, having known Ken Wapnick and everybody, I mean, he was so close to all that. That's still his deepest experience, but mine is a little different. I'm really been changed by the living in oneness. First hearing it sort of off screen, and then on my own in 2020, and mostly now being pretty committed and changed by what I've learned from Rupert.
Yeah, well, thank you. So Dave, I guess this is for you then, because you're the one that wrote the point, and my point isn't to say for some people, like for me, I needed to read the text several times. I'm thinking about actually reading the text like I did the workbook lessons and retranslating them. That's probably a 3-year project, but I was thinking about doing that. I haven't really seen it happen yet, so I don't know when or that's going to happen. It feels like it will happen sometime, where I'll retranslate the text into a non-dual understanding, because I find that I've seen dozens of people have awakening experiences in the workbook lessons, full awakening experiences and understanding of clarity in the workbook lessons, never touching the text. So I don't know that that's necessary to have to. I know the Course says that you need to have you read the text for the foundation of what's being offered. But if you understand yourself as I am, as the self, then what's the use in reading about something that's speaking to the mind that still thinks that it's separate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have said that as a categorical, like everybody's got to, read that text, and because everybody has their different path through,
yeah,
and coming to it from a different place. So I should have prefaced it with, for me, this
for
is
me, yes, yeah. I've done that. I've said what you said, and categorically, said everybody, 50% of the audience or 30%, you guys are wrong. And I like to start my sentences with for me because of that. But thank you for making that statement. I still think the Course in Miracles is a great tool. It's and also this is something, I followed Ken for the first year of finding the Course. I went and met him personally. I stayed several weeks in Temecula, and then I went to different, when he was on tour, and he spent a week in Atlanta. I went there. I remember Ken. He was a fundamentalist Course teacher. And I don't think anyone knew the Course better than him, but he didn't give you the Course to help you wake up. He espoused the Course to help you understand the Course. He is the best teacher that he and Robert Perry is the same way. They're not the same level teachers. Ken, when I would sit in his class and I'd say, but it says this, and he would go, I'd call and I raise you, and he would take me to another page where he would clear up what I was trying to challenge him with. But the difference between A Course in Miracles and the Teachers of God Foundation and Bill Free, today versus 15 years ago is that I don't really care if someone knows the course frontwards and backwards, and they can tell you every page number that everything is on. The only thing that interests me is not how well you know the course, but are you waking up? Are you having an awakening experience? Because that's what the course is for. The course met me where I was. I was a Christian, and it uprooted me out of Christianity and pointed me to something that changed my life forever. But you're not finished there. Workbook lesson 189 says, forget this course, forget this world, and come with holy empty hands. It says unto your God, but I would say unto yourself. And thank you, Dave, for signing up for Living in Oneness and bringing Marta over there to have it leak out on her. That's so good.
Thank you for offering. And I mean, I hold both approaches together. As you've said, I think they each support each other and fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I think A Course in Miracles is a phenomenal document. It is going to go on for hundreds of years. I wish there weren't so many course students that get stuck in the process of forgiveness, because when you make it to the borderland, you've moved up about 4 rungs up the ladder, and you're living as awakened presence, as the awakened consciousness. And you can have that direct experience, and the searches can be over for you. And then you can, as Marta says, the course reads differently to someone who's awake. It reads differently to someone who lives in a state that knows itself as I am.
I don't even know. I don't even know enough to know about the borderland. But is that, if so? If you are changed by what I've learned from Rupert, does that put me in the borderland? Is that what you're saying?
Well, your understanding puts you in what the borderland in A Course in Miracles says, that the truth lays side by side. The borderland is a symbol of an experience where the truth lays side by side next to illusions, and only the truth remains. And what that means is, if you would change that word of the truth, if you would say awareness lays side by side next to anything that's in time, right? Anything that's time-based, anything that's form-based, awareness lays side by side next to the form, and only awareness remains. So awareness is the truth that shines a light on all experience. And when you learn to rest as awareness, when you're living and abiding, and that's what happens with the non-dual direct path. You first have your glimpses of the experience of awareness. You first have glimpses of your experience of, and those little glimpses are little holy instants, what the Course calls holy instants. Those little glimpses are little awarenesses that become more and more and more. And pretty soon, you are the totality of awareness that sees the world as the truth. You're looking through the eyes of one that lives in truth. And when you live in truth, when you're seeing with the eyes that live in truth, only the truth remains. You no longer see two worlds, because it says it's impossible to see two worlds. you only see the one world.
Personally, I get it's such a gift to go and read the workbook now, and it opens up so much in the way the wording and everything. But with the text, it seems like this intellectual exercise that bogs me down, and I get confused with the pronouns or who's being referred to with what, and are the capitals there that should be or shouldn't, and it doesn't edify me the way the workbook does. But.
Yeah. Well, good on you. And also Dave too. He's been a long time study of the course. I'm not putting him down. Let Dave be exactly where he is. Oh, this is what Ken Wapnick said. He said this to a good friend of mine that introduced me to Ken. He said, let everyone just be exactly as they are. Everyone's doing the best they can where they are, and no one needs to change anything. No one needs to be right or wrong. If you get a pull, obviously Dave got the pull to sign up for Living in Oneness so that Marta could come to know the truth. So now you guys can be in harmony, and nobody needs to be right or wrong either way. And there is a complement where the non-dual actually works reverse from the course. You'll find things that might show up for you reading the course now that you have a direct experience that will clean up some old residual ideas that you didn't know were hanging out. So, whatever is happening, Marta's not in charge anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
Thank you.
And I've been reading the book about Helen and Bill, not you, Bill, but Bill Thetford.
Yes.
Helen, I mean, yes, she was a scribe for the course, but she was a mess psychologically and socially. I mean, she didn't really apply the course to her own relationships, which is kind of stunning and ironic. But
yeah, both. I totally agree. She was like, you would say, you wrote the course. Get that thing away from me. But it's brilliant, and thank you for your raising that comment in the chat.
thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, let's see. Karen Krieger, I would love it if you read the text with us. Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you. That's I feel an inspiration coming. I thought it was going to be this year, but it didn't happen. So we'll see when it happens. I don't know. It's funny. What happened on that, Karen, was I had just come back from a 2-month cross-country journey with James Twyman. He and I did 19 shows at different of the one-man musical, Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon. James Twyman did the one-man musical, and I was his cameraman. I was his companion buddy. I was his drone pilot. I filmed it, the whole thing, and he did a short little movie on it, 1.5-hour movie. And the key of that, he wanted to portray the experience of St. Francis by going with no money for that whole 2-month process. So we traveled across the United States for 2 months with no money. I sent my credit cards and money home, and we were completely provided for. I did it I was just, first of all, I wanted to hang out with him because I think he's a really cool guy. But to have an idea like that, I thought, hell yes, I want to go and just see what happens with trust. I want to see trust lead the way. And we gained 5 pounds each. And we stayed in great hotels or basements. I envisioned that I'd be sleeping in the bushes sometimes, and that we'd be walking for quite a bit, but we hardly walked at all. And we were provided for. And when we were given money, some people gave us lots of money, cash. We went back out on the street and we gave it to the homeless people in that area because we wanted to stick to the agreement that we weren't going to be carry money. So that was it. But when I got back from that 2-month tour, I came home. I'd been gone for 2 months. And all of a sudden I got an inspiration to read the workbook lesson and to retranslate it as I was reading it. And I did it one day, and then I did it another day, and then I was having so much fun doing it that I just kept doing it. And I did it for a whole year, and then I realized that I didn't do quite as good a job starting up for the first 3 months. So I overlapped it, and I did it for about 15 or 16 months. And then I bundled the 12 months of workbook lessons, retranslated, and we put them in a member area so people can listen to and watch them for free every day. And they're really good. I listen to them myself right now. I was listening to workbook lesson 145 to 149 today, the review lessons. And I do them while I'm on the exercise bicycle. I just like listening to my retranslation of them. They're pretty good. All right. Well, we have about 4 minutes left. Do we have any other questions? Jan is on 229. Okay, Jan's doing the non-dual workbook lessons. You like them, Jan? Are you there, Jan?
Yeah, I'm here. I had to figure out how to turn myself on.
Oh, hi, Jan.
Hi, I haven't seen you for a while. Well, you haven't seen me, but I've seen you a lot. Okay, I've been doing
Okay.
different things, skipping from here to there. But after the last Pure Presence conference that you held, I was just really fired up, and I heard about your non-dual workbook lessons, and I thought that is for me. So I skipped about the first 50 that are more just introducing you into how to do them, But I'm up on 229 now, and that's my morning wake up call. I sit down and do that before I do anything else, and they're so inspiring with the extra little sidebars that you give to this and the expansion upon the talk of the day, so to speak. And I just appreciate so much that you are doing that for us.
Thank you. Yeah. They are inspired. I like listening to me too. I don't know where I've, even though it's not some kind of because it's me. It's where I would enter into, and that was completely inspired, and it was almost like a channel of communication. I had no script. I had no idea what I was going to say next. And it just has a nice, gentle flow about it. And I love it myself. So thanks for listening and watching, Jan, and for mentioning that. And I'll keep talking to you, even though I won't see you, but you'll see me.
Yeah, you can say hi to me every morning like you do to everybody else, because I'm there.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
I'm just not a different lesson from you. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you for that encouragement also, Karen. You'll be the first to know if I or when. It seems like it's a when I do the text. It's a big undertaking. I'm not sure what time of the day I would do it on, but we'll see what happens. I'm not adverse to it. Grace said, for me, I find there are times that when I read the course, I read between the lines while reading it. Yeah, all the time. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, you can read in the course right now. You can read things that are in the course and you can say, oh, that's not true. There's stuff in there that's just not, it's just, I used to think it was like holy, like Jesus said this through Helen. It can't be wrong. And there's some mistakes in there. Sorry. It's inspired, but there's some mistakes in there. Some things that aren't true. In fact, none of it's true, really, because the only thing that's true doesn't have a voice. So it's good to see everyone today. Thank you for joining with me. And I will be back again the first Sunday in July. I'll just be coming back from Florida. I'm going to go down to Florida. Lisa and I are going to have a road trip. We're going to go down and see my 2 kids and my 2 grandkids. And we're going to hang out at the beach with them for about 5 days. Looking forward to it. And I'll be seeing you guys online. If you're in the book study, if you're not, sign up, go to billfree.com or teachersofgod.org and sign up for the free book study. And I'll see you on Wednesdays. Thank you for joining with me. Love you all. Thank you, Karen.